Hello, welcome back to Silver Thread Sewing. I'm Diane. Today I have a final update on my dad, and I also will be a little bit later. I will be downstairs in the sewing room and kind of talk a little bit about my sewing room and what's going on down there. If you have been following along and you know that my dad's been declining in health, you may want to hear what I have to say. And if you don't, if you're just here for the sewing content, I totally understand, and that is totally fine. I'm going to try to put a time stamp along the bottom here. As soon as I'm finished with this, I will be talking about loss, and I want to share just a little bit about my faith. So if those are things that you prefer not to hear, totally fine. And just skip ahead now, and I'll be back in a few minutes with my sewing details. So many of you have commented in my previous videos where I had talked about my dad and my mom, and shared some pictures. Many of you have commented and said that you would be praying for Daddy and for me and for our family, and some have wished him well and have been kind enough to say that you would be remembering and thanking all of us, and all that just meant so much to me. It truly did, and I appreciate it. And so he has been declining, as you know, for several months now. Really, he broke his hip back in January, and he's just been kind of in a steady downhill decline, losing weight, not eating, sleeping more. So on Sunday, June 25th, when we were with him, he was a lot worse health-wise, but he was still able to know we were there. He talked to us and made sure to tell us all that he loved us. So we did get to talk to him that day, and then on the 26th, Monday, he wasn't really responsive much. He would, he would kind of try to wake up when we would talk to him, but it was kind of like we were just annoying him more than anything else. So on Tuesday, the 27th of June, I got a call about 6:30 that morning, and they said that he was declining rapidly, and they felt like his time was coming. So we got there, and when we walked in, it was just, it was so peaceful. He was at peace. He was calm and quiet and seemed to be resting comfortably. As the day went on, his breathing kind of started to change, and it had been a really dark day, kind of like today. The clouds were just heavy, and it would kind of rain a little bit and sprinkle, and then quit raining and stay cloudy and dark. And at 1:57 p.m., he took his last breath. And when he exhaled, it was like the sun just immediately came out for just, I don't know, maybe 10 seconds. And I had been, sitting there waiting for him to stop breathing. And then as soon as he did, the sun just popped out, and it was kind of like a firework had gone off. It was just a burst of sunshine, and then it was back to being dark. It was as though it didn't even happen. And, he was a man of faith, a man of great faith, and I am a person of great faith as well. And I felt in my heart, I just felt like that was God's way of allowing us to know that his spirit was going to be with him. And I felt peace that he's with my mom. I'm not sure how to be me without them. I'm an old lady, and I've had my parents my whole life. Now, this past 15, 16 years have been hard because of their vision and their health decline and all. And my mom's been gone about a year and a half, and less than that, about a year and 3 months actually. But anyway, I just wanted to let you know that I appreciate all of you and your kindness, and I'm at peace. We're grieving and having a hard time with him not being here, but we're thankful that we will see him again and get to spend eternity with him. And the last thing I'm going to say on these subjects is regarding my faith. I am an imperfect person. I'm probably the most imperfect person in the whole wide world. whole wide world. But I have had a relationship with Jesus since I was 11 years old. And I can tell you from personal experience that that has comforted me. It's given me peace. Some people say that religion or faith is a crutch. And I'm okay with that. I need crutches. I need a wheelchair. And some days I need a cot. So I am perfectly okay with using my faith in whatever way, because it's the most important thing about me. And I just want to tell you, if you don't know what it's like to have peace in your life or to have hope, if you're struggling, you know, there's no failure in the struggle. There's no failure in that. We all struggle from time to time with different things and for different reasons. And if I can, you know, I don't have all the answers, but I can certainly help you to find and to learn about the one who does. And, you know, the Bible is my preferred instruction book. Acts 2:38 is one of my favorite scriptures, and, you know, the whole book of Acts and talking about the church. So I'm not going to talk any more about the loss or that in this video. I just felt like I wouldn't be true to my dad, and I wouldn't be true to myself if I didn't at least share that with you. But again, thank you for all your prayers, your thoughts, your concern, your kindness. And I really do appreciate it. But that's kind of where I've been for the last few weeks, and that's okay. But next time you see me, I'm going to be down in the sewing room, and we'll talk. I've not been really productive, of course. There's been too many other things happening that needed my attention. But I've got some things that I'm trying to work on just to kind of get my mind back in some kind of a productive place. So we'll see how that goes. But I'll see you in a minute. Thank you. Welcome back. So I wanted to talk to you just for a minute about pattern organization and how to keep up with our patterns. I'm going to show you the way I've been doing it for a long time, why that doesn't work well, and maybe some things I could possibly do differently. And that's kind of where I wanted to talk about. I've not gotten much sewing done at all. I've been in here. I come in and out and look at my fabric and look at stuff I have cut out, but I've just not been at the sewing machine. I had a piece of beautiful rayon challis fabric that I had really wanted to get made into a top before Independence Day, July 4th, which was yesterday. And this is it. It came from Fabric Mart Fabrics, and it is just so pretty. I just lied. It came from Joann Fabric. I got this at Joann Fabric, not Fabric Mart. It's Joann. And it's just a navy print with, it's actually got red, some white, and some light blue on a dark blue background. And I was going to make either a little shift dress or a top to wear for Independence Day. But I wound up not really doing anything for Independence Day. I didn't even go to see a firework or a parade or anything. So I guess it doesn't matter that I didn't make it. But I would still like to get that made up because it's so pretty. I just love it. And if I had it made up, and you can wear red, white, and blue anytime. But I did want that for the 4th of July. So anyway, patterns. So the way I have been kind of keeping up with what patterns I have for a long time now, and I think I showed you this in my sewing room tour, I believe, I have a notebook, and of course it has a strawberry on it. I don't know if you can see that for the glare. And I would just, every time I would get a new pattern, I would go online and print out a picture of that pattern and just make it fit as many onto a page as I could and put it in this notebook. And that way, and I separated it by a pattern company like Simplicity, McCall's. But I did it basically that way to save ink, to save paper, and that way I would know what patterns I had. Back here's the Simplicity. I think that was the new look. And then some of them, I would print out the full size, but not very many. I usually printed them out small as a way to save on paper and ink. So anyway, that's better than nothing. I think it's definitely better than nothing. But a couple problems with this way of doing it. Number one, you have to remember every time you get a new pattern, you have to remember to go online and add that sheet, which is not that big of a deal. I kept them separate till I would catalog them, and then I'd put them away. I have them in these two bottom drawers here. Again, I think I showed that in my sewing room tour. But a couple problems with it. Sometimes I can't tell by looking if it's a knit or a woven garment. So I still have to come down, rummage around, find the pattern, or look it up online if it's available. And sometimes it's not. Sometimes it'll be an out-of-print pattern, and I won't be able to find an image of the back of the pattern envelope. So I started a Trello board, Trello, Trello board. And it was taking me forever. I mean, I have the patience of a small gnat anyway. But it was just taking forever to find how to put the information in and type it all in, and I was finding that to be real frustrating. I would take my patterns for a while and put all my simplicity patterns together, every simplicity, and go by number. And I would start at the lowest number and work my way up and put them numerically. And of course, I would separate the different companies by I would alphabetize those. So what comes first? Butterick, of course, comes first, and then Quick Sew, New Look, McCall's. I don't have a lot of Vogue patterns. I have a few, but not many. Then I have a couple Simple Sew and a couple of other things. But I first started doing it numerically. Well, after a little while pulling patterns in and out, I got frustrated with trying to put them back in numerical order, and so they're a mess again. So what I've been thinking about doing is pulling all my patterns out, and I thought maybe I would show you some as I go along. Basically, how I have them right now is all my dress patterns are together, and I have a little index card that says dresses, all my different dress patterns, and then tops, and then skirts, or bottoms, or outerwear, whatever they may be. That's how I have them in these drawers now, and kind of separated. So what I thought I might do is just pull them all out and really go through them with a critical eye, and see which ones I'm really most likely to make. I don't know how many I have. I don't have as many as some, I'm sure, and I have started delving into the PDF patterns now, the independent patterns. So I know I don't have a ton, but I've got 2 drawers back here in this thing that are pretty well full. And I've got a few children's patterns because I used to sew for my kids when they were little. So I'm just thinking, if I took out the ones, maybe it's some that I think I might use eventually, or I might have reason to use in the future, but maybe I don't want them where I can get to them readily. Maybe I could put them in a box and put them somewhere else, or maybe sell some or give them away or something like that. So tell me how you separate your patterns and what you find the easiest. I know it's going to take me some time, whatever I do, but I think that my first order of business will be to pull all the patterns out and separate them. And I'm thinking about trying to take and just print a picture of the front of the envelope and print the back of the envelope on the same page, like half page, and do it that way. And that way I could tell the suggested fabrics and how much is needed before I go to the trouble of starting to pull out fabric and try to decide what I want to make. So tell me what your suggestions are on that, because I'm pretty unsure. But I'm still working on some shirts, and I'm working actually on another pair of pajamas, but this time I was making a top, a button-up pajama shirt to go with them. And I had a piece of it's kind of thin, but it's cotton voile, cotton lawn, I'm not sure. It's thin, and I was planning to make a dress out of it because it's really pretty, but I'm actually thinking now I'm well, I am making pajamas because I've already cut them out. So I've got some things pinned together and just kind of been doing little piddly things that I could keep my mind on. But let me know about your pattern storage and what you think, and if you'd be interested in seeing what patterns I have. You know, I know that we probably all have some that are very similar to one another. Maybe we have a simplicity dress that's very similar to a McCall's dress, or vice versa, or maybe it has details that we really like and some details that we don't. Or I've got a couple patterns that I have at least 2, and I have a little jacket pattern that I have 3 of the same pattern because I'd forgotten about buying it, and it was before I started cataloging them. So I would find them on sale, and I was obviously interested in making that pattern because I purchased it 3 times, but yet it's unopened. I have three copies of it and have not made even one, and what a waste is that. So I thought I might do that, and I might show you some. I won't do them all in one video, and I probably won't go into details as far as, oh, it's this size and this much fabric, but maybe just go over the particulars of them and let you see them. And you may have some like them, and maybe you can give me some ideas on how you found them to sew up, and maybe some that I might get, I don't want to say get rid of, but maybe I might rehome. That's a good modern word. I might rehome some of those patterns that I have multiples of. But anyway, I just wanted to talk to you about that and show you kind of what I've been doing, why it works and why it doesn't work. It's definitely better than nothing, but I think I could have something a little more beneficial if I work at it a little harder. So I hope to be back maybe Friday and let you know what kind of progress I've made. But thanks for joining me, and remember, we'll never be failures at sewing as long as we don't stop trying. Thanks. Bye.